Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm filming in the evening for something a little bit different because basically my husband's just put on a movie that I think's a bit silly and I couldn't get this out of my head, so I just said to him, I'm going to slip into the craft room. I'm going to film this so that I can rest tonight because I've got an idea that I just want to flesh out with you guys, and that will set me sort of in motion tomorrow when I pick up my needle and thread again. So basically I've decided I need 2 books. Oh, what a shame. The reason being is now that I've completed a red version of reindeer and a blue version of reindeer, plus the advent component, which is the panel that sits over the top of the decorative piece, I sort of been looking at this red one thinking, well, now do I do a number 1 or do I do a number 2? If I do a number 1, I'm pretty much doubling everything. If I do a number 2, I might regret that I didn't do a number 1. You can see where I'm heading with this. So I've made a decision. The advent calendar is going to be blue, which can then become my bunting. The red versions will be my journal of stitchery for Christmas, which will just sit out on my table at Christmas to flip through. So that means that my tag and my cover will become my red Christmas. Now, I mentioned in the last video that I wanted somewhere to store some treasures from my family of crocheters. So I've got some pieces from my mum, some pieces from my grandmother and her sisters. And I've just found out that another member in the family has gone into a nursing home, and the family have cleaned out the cupboards, and there's a little bag of goodies coming my way of doilies and things. And she was a really good crocheter as well. So I'd really love a place to keep these things instead of a bag in the cupboard. So what I want to do is in amongst the pages, instead of using it as background like I suggested in the last video where they're stitched to the background and then the pieces go on top, and then as the pieces go off to hang around the house, we've got a book of crocheting. I think what I'll do with this journal, the red journal, is the crocheting will be in amongst it, as in you'll flip through and there'll be some of my work, you'll flip to the next page to my grandmother, then an aunt, and then so on, so on, so on. So you can see where the red book is going to be a collection of red embroidery and crocheting from the family. Now, some of the siblings and the generation below are still around me with Christmas. So it will be great to actually flip through that red journal and they will find their family in there somewhere. So that's sort of where I'm heading. So this panel will actually detach from here at some point and go towards the red journal. It's going to be a hardcover, so that's a whole new process that I'll take you through when we're ready. This will continue to be a concertina style journal with a soft spine, or something will be along here, or maybe we just do a band that will secure it that'll also be stitched, and it will sit in my decoration box in its entirety. So that's yet to be decided, what we're doing on the spine and sort of how we're going to present it and preserve it. It may need to have a cover made for it, who knows, but that'll come. So let's pretend that that's the title page now. Now remember, mine is going to be landscape, so this will need to be a blue title page that I'll make another day. And this is how I'm going to present it. Now just take the camera out a bit. Oops, sorry. So I've gone through my book and worked out how I'm going to lay out my bunting advent calendar. So I've got panel 1 and the image, and so on, panel 2 and then the image. So I now know exactly how this is going to go. So I went through and I also stitched around the perimeter of each piece. I'll just bring that up so you can see my stitch. That is holding my concertina together beautifully. So inadvertently it's created a spine. So the other thing I wanted to mention is my pins. Someone asked, will they corrode? I contacted the supplier, they won't. They've been coated with something that's going to protect them, so they shouldn't rust. and I've managed to be able to secure through all layers so that I'll only need 4 pins on a page, and that's every second page because they'll catch the one underneath. So I won't need a lot of pins to actually put this together, and I should have enough. So as I was going through, I got up to 11 and then I got to 12, and I'd come to the end of my concertina. Now, if you remember back, I used a bolt of calico that was 5 meters long. So that concertina ring got me to here. And when I started it, this raw edge there was the start of it, and then just concertinaed it together. So that's the raw edge at the beginning, and then it ended at the end here. Let me just pull that down. So I hope this makes sense. So it ended there. So 12 needed an extension. So I had to tear more fabric and join it in, and then that would then create the 12th page and then the back, which I need to create like the title. There's a front and a back. So I just wanted to go through how to extend a concertina, because I think we might all come across this. Look at that shadow. I'm so sorry about that. Because I'm filming in the evening, I've got no natural light coming from my window to the side. It's only the lights in the ceiling. So I do apologise if that's annoying, but I just had to get away from that movie. It's Thor, and it was just driving me nuts. I've seen it before, and yeah, it was just bombarding me with sound and fighting, and all I could think about was Christmas in this journal, so I had to get out of there. So I do apologise for that. Now, where was I? How to extend your concertina. So we've folded it and it's come along, and oops, we've run out of fabric. So all I did was tear a new piece. Let's pretend that's the piece. And I've turned it over to give me a neat edge, laid it on there just so that it covers that little bit hidden there, and then carried on my way. And then when I got to the end here, that's the end in there. So it's come along. I've folded that over as well so that it's nice and neat, because on my spine I've got all these folded edges. So I needed it to end with a folded edge. Didn't really matter so much up here that it's raw, doesn't matter. Probably in hindsight I could have tucked it in and folded it a little bit better, but it doesn't matter. But I did definitely need this spine to be just full of folds. So that's how I did it. Now that stitched feature stitch going around, then I just trimmed that pocket edge with lace. I was going to stitch it down, and I thought, no, I'm going to leave it. It's a pocket, and maybe I can slide in there a little bit about the project. Like a hidden little message for, how it came to be that this project was created. Let's say this ends up in an op shop in, 50 years' time, and I'm long gone. Well, then they'll be able to see what it was that we were up to. So, or the girls might give us a prompt, like make a pocket. I've got a pocket. They might say a journal card. Well, then I can slide it into the pocket. So who knows what that will become. But that's a great opportunity to join in and get you going again on your concertina. Anyway, I'm waffling. So what I want to do now, this is my last page to stitch down with this border stitching. So I've used a ruler and just done a line around the perimeter. I didn't measure it. I sort of can pick, roughly what is. Let's grab that ruler over there. What is it? 1/2 inch. And that side's a little bit more. So it's just a guide, but soluble or heat pen, ruled it all up, and now I've measured out some crochet cotton. It's quite a thick crochet cotton because I want it to be a feature. I did consider doing it blue. I did consider doing red, and I thought, no, keep it just simple. So I've measured enough to get me all the way around. So a long side, a short side, a long side, and a short side, plus a little extra. So I know I will get all the way around. And all I'm going to do then is just put my needle in there so it's between the two layers, coming up on the corner. So now my knot is within the fabric. And then it's just a case of stitch it. Now all these pages, there's a lot of them. I did them over, actually it was all pretty much last night. The football was on. Those folks out there that are Aussies, you'll know that the state of origin, Queensland versus New South Wales, we won, might I just add, was on, and it was the final game. It's a series of 3 games, and then because we won one and New South Wales won, well, the decider was tonight, last night, Wednesday. It's Thursday today. So I just sat there stitching this on my lap, and I must say it was a lot of effort because the fabric is thick. I really had to work hard with this needle. It is a big needle. It's a strong needle. It's probably more of a needle you'd use to put buttons on, say, a teddy bear, where you need it to go through the body of a teddy bear and cinch in arms to the base of the bear. So, but it's good because it's strong, and I'm not going to bend it. It's it handles the pulling and the tugging to get it through the fabric. So I would use a good strong needle if you are going to do this process. So the whole time I'm just making sure that that's nice and flat, and now I'm going to spin my work around so that I can come, and I'm just lifting the book up a bit, leaning it against me so that now I can come, because I'm working right to left. If you're left-handed, you'd probably be coming the other way. So it's just a case of feeding the fabric using your thumb as a guide. Is that on the camera? Yeah, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. So I'm just sort of concertinaing up the fabric on, and then just gently ease your thread through. Really simple, very effective, and it's going to secure our pages. Like I said in, I think, the last video, we get very busy at Christmas, and I want as much as this nutted out now, so that as the months start to wind on and get busy, we just have to focus on the prompts and the pages that we're creating. The actual book itself is pretty much, you know, sorted bar a few little things. My red book, I really have to put my mind to that. I think I'll cover it like I did the first journal. I think I might even make tab spine. I don't know. I do like the idea of a full spine because that gives you another space to embroider, having that spine, and maybe I could put a Christmas message there, or maybe there's a prompt coming that could be the spine cover. So be, you know, a floating spine, and then a decorative piece put over the top of it, so that when it's sitting in the bookcase, you know that that's the Christmas one. I definitely don't want the cover showing because it's a cookbook, so that sort of doesn't really fit. So I'll have to have a little think about that over the weekend and maybe come up with a plan for that. But this one I think we've pretty much got sorted now. It's just a case of get some panels made, make an advent portion to it, which that's pretty quick. It's not a big task. I haven't shown you that yet. I've only explained it. So the next blue one, which will be next Wednesday at the prompt. So the next blue one, I'll make the number 2 with you so you can sort of see how I'm doing that. I did see this evening a comment came in on the video to say that it would be pretty simple to stitch a tab on the back of our embroideries, and then the bunting rope or the cordage would just slide through those tags. That would eliminate pegs. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think someone mentioned something like that earlier in the process too. So it's amazing. We're all just on the same train of thought. Once we all start, you know, thinking and putting our heads together, I've seen all sorts of ideas. It's been a fantastic project. And I like the fact that we're starting from nothing. We have to create our very own books. That's just really good. That's really testing us. And for those of you that are new, you know, this, you guys will be learning. I'm going to have to swizzle this a little bit to sort of get my angle. For those of you who are new, you will be, oh, wow, what a journey. For those of you who've had a bit of a experience in stitchery, it's really all about containing your ideas into something. That's our challenge. Like, there's so many things floating through our heads. We're like, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. And it's all about slowing the brain down and going, right, just stop. What do you want to achieve? How are we going to do it? Where the newbies are like, how do I do that? What the hell is she talking about? So if you are new and you've got a question, don't hesitate to drop me a comment. I'm more than happy to try and give you a bit of a hint of where I would probably go to solve it, or, you know, by all means, just ask. And even if someone else sees that comment, that question, they'll add a comment. Like, it's just fantastic. There might be 3 answers actually to your one question, because we've all come from different experiences and backgrounds. So it's pretty amazing what actually comes through in the comments. So always take the time to have a flip through the comments on YouTube videos, because you can actually learn quite a lot just by reading them. So I'm closing in now. I'm going to remove that final pin that was sort of holding it. Closing in on that corner. I'm really pleased I'm doing this now, because otherwise it just becomes a big mess of fabric, and I can't stand that. I like to be able to feel the book is sort of coming together. So I'm just going to push my needle back through so that it's back in between the 2 fabrics, and in there I'm going to knot it off just by catching a few threads. Okay, and the iron will get rid of my red marks. Okay, so now my 12th page is available for me. So let me take the camera out a bit. Oops, the other way. Okay, so number 12 is written there. I've joined in the new piece that gives me the very last page. It's now all stitched down, and there's the back of my book. So like the front, I will need a title page, and then at the very back I'll need another piece here. So I guess the next decision as I stitch the next couple blue ones is what I'm going to use as a cover, because I no longer have the book. Do I recreate the book? Do I find another book? I'm sure these would be still out there, but who knows? Or, you know, maybe, like I said, maybe I just recreate a brand new cover. It wouldn't be too hard. We could make it soft. We could reinforce it so it's got a bit of structure. So making a cover from nothing is doable. I definitely want to do a band around it like Sarah did on her first journal. So that's a case of a piece of fabric will go around the entire thing and be decorated, and be some fasteners here, maybe some buttons or something to join it together when it comes back across. Maybe that's enough. I'd be pretty sure I'll need to do a little bit more work on this spine, and we've got a couple options. We could stitch all of these folds together. So you'd start on the first 2 and you do a blanket stitch all the way along. Then you spin it around, you get the next two or the next one and blanket stitch to that one you've just stitched, and all the way along, and then you spin it around, and then you come back and forward, okay, until you've got them all secured. I'm pretty sure Rachel did that to hers, and I know I did that on the Anne Brooks Sew for the Soul, I think it was called, where she did a spine where it was just all stitched along there. Another option is we get a piece of fabric like this, and we work out where the middle is of our journal. Let's say it's there, and we run a stitch line down. Let's presume that that fabric's full size. We run a stitch line right through there, catching the book to this piece of fabric, and then you'd go to the back and run a stitch line there, and then you'd scoot back to the front and run a stitch line there. From that point, then you'd decide whether you needed to do it again in between those stitch lines, but that then would secure this to your journal. And from there, you could then add some glue and stick this to a cover, or stitch this to a cover that you've made that is slightly bigger than the whole project. So got a few options. I'm sure something will come to light. So I'm just sort of talking through the finishing processes of this book, but at least my pages are done now and my colours are sorted. I've sort of come up with a bit of a plan, this red book. The actual red book itself should be pretty simple. I'm just going to cover this in fabric. The spine should be enough because I've got the previous stitcheries. Let me just grab those. I've got the previous volumes from the first video, so I'll be able to now work out how many blocks I got into a spine, this wide versus this wide. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to sort of work my way ahead and go, okay, I've got 12 embroideries. Will this spine do the trick? And it probably won't, but at least I've got my cover. And like I did with these, I did a tab spine, and my pieces were just stitched in once I made a signature of 4 of them. That was then stitched into the actual tabs. So it's really simple. Maybe my red one goes along that, or at least if that's one piece of fabric, it's still the same principle. It's just stitching them in as you create each one. Okay, so I will most likely go ahead and choose a fabric to cover my book. Really simple. I don't think I need to show you that. It'll be just a case of cut a piece of fabric to the size. Let's assume that this is missing, and I've just got the cover, and I will literally cut a piece of fabric that's maybe half an inch bigger all the way around, and then glue it on. So let's pretend that that's missing, and it's just a case of the fabric will go around all the way around. So then I have a nice covered fabric cover. What else will I have to consider? I think that's probably about it. I think by the next video, you'll probably be seeing me start the next prompt, and I will try and work out what fabric I'm going to use on this, and I will separate this out because I have a feeling already that that's not enough, because we have, you know, six stitcheries. How many is in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potentially, 7, 8 if I do extras. It might work, you know. I might be able to keep that. No, I'm not going to keep it. It'll force me to do something better on the spine. Where's my scissors? It's got to go. I'm going to get rid of it now. because I've made a decision, and if I don't, I'll start thinking about other things I can do. So just simple, cut it out, and then just tidy up the cover. If there's any daggy bits, you know, just tidy that up. So now I can go looking for some nice fabrics. Do I do something like a hemp that's just neutral and beautiful? Or do I find a nice red fabric that would, you know, look gorgeous and Christmassy? What fun. Okay, so it's just a case of, I'm going to get rid of my nice wool mat because I'm going to make a mess otherwise. I'm just going to trim that a little bit more. Okay, my red book is starting. I also received, while I'm chatting away and fiddling around here, I also received my pack of fabric from Sarah that arrived in the mail. I was lucky enough to secure one. I was stalking her. I was watching for her video and her Etsy store all afternoon into the evening. It was funny. I just wanted to grab the blue one. I wasn't too worried about the traditional one because I seem to have enough fabrics. But when she said she was having a go at dyeing fabrics, I thought, oh, if only I could get my hands on one of those, because I'm not interested in dyeing fabrics, but I do love it when people play with dyes because you can get some fantastic results. So I thought if there was an opportunity to get one, that would be a bit of a special treat. So I'm not sure if they'll appear actually in Christmas because I have chosen a colour scheme for my Christmas blue. So they probably won't, but the fabrics, she's done really well. She's put together a pack that I could use it for anything. So I've sort of been sliding down the rabbit hole of, this is the pack here. Let me get rid of my red book. Look, I'm getting sidetracked. I've already had it out once and had a good look. I believe she is releasing more. So if you did decide to get one, I'd recommend it because it's not too Christmassy, especially the blue one. But there's all sorts of goodies, like that little piece there. We could definitely work that into my current stitchery, even the yo-yo. But I gathered all the little laces together. And there's all sorts in there. So I've sort of started thinking about, I've got pages spare in my journal from the first part of the year. Look at that. That feels old. It's so delicate. What a pretty blue. You did good, Sarah. Really good. So, yeah, I'm considering doing a couple pages with prompts like what we did for the first part of the year. So I'm thinking about some birds and some florals, and then sort of piecing together something that can go in my journal. And these colours will certainly work with what I've got. So there's some gorgeous little colours there, and even some indigo dyed fabrics. How special is that? I think that's in her reindeer piece that she's just completed. Very pretty. So really, out of the whole pack, the only thing that is really Christmassy is this, which I might be able to use, you know, in my bunting. Everything else you could do for Christmas, winter, anything. So really pretty. Look, there's some more indigo dyed fabric. How special is that? Oh, very generous. Look at that green with it. Just a floral, like a flower, and then all the leaves were in this mustardy green. Beautiful. So I've got a few ideas for the pack. May not be Christmas. There'll be a couple pieces I think I'll sneak out of it and work into my blue bunting. But I think this is going to be something on its own. So I'll keep it all packed together, and that way, if I go away anywhere and I want to, you know, have a quick grab project, this is perfect for that. It's like everything's there that Sarah's packed. All I've got to do is come up with a design, and I've got plenty of space in my journal of stitchery from the first part of the year to add something. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it in its form. I got one from Susanna too, from Vintage Blend. It's beautiful as well. What did I do with that? I don't think I've shown you that one yet. It's put aside as well. Same scenario. I just have this little drawer where I can grab that, and I know what I want to do with it. I've just got to have a design, so it's sort of quick grab and go. So if you can get yourself a pack, do it, because I think the price is really good compared to other packs out there. It's pretty good, and if you're in Australia, it's pretty hard to get packs from overseas to us, so it's a great opportunity to, you know, take advantage of Sarah's generosity and hard work. My goodness, packing that together in the way it was presented was just beautiful. So yeah, see, it works really well, doesn't it? Really does fit. Oh, there'll be definitely things sneak in, especially some of those laces. Why not? So maybe I won't tuck it away too far. Okay, everyone, I'm going to leave it at that. I think you sort of know where I'm heading. I'm going to be making 2 journals, completely different colors, so it should be a lot of fun. All right, everyone, I will leave you alone now. Enjoy your evening, and I will probably be posting this video later in the week. But it's already later in the week. It's Thursday already. Goodness me. Okay. Talk to you all soon. Bye.